It's real. It's simple. Closer to science fiction. I think it might just be the end of the world. Don't think, just do, just breathe. Nothing is written yet. All in the blink of an eye, the risk of hope, evisceration. But I think it's worth it. It's some childlike hope that makes you want to cry. But you don't. Not yet. You're too angry, too scared. So you're right. You make very personal art and perform for the audience, a grief made in our own image. It's only pain. I wanted to talk about religion. I wanted to speak of Renaissance artwork, saints and martyrs and free will, devotion, the end of the world, deities and anti-gods, love, the altitude of mountains, clear as the morning sun. I intended to hide from my own reflection behind metaphors and bloody purple prose, parallels, imagery, and symbolism, reference the greats and quote the Odyssey or something about warriors and storms, because big words and lofty metaphors are far easier than telling you that I'm afraid. I'm heartbroken. And that my only option for not feeling like this with the rest of my life is to face it, to take on the impossible, the nuclear. We'll figure it out. If I speak like the desert, descend into dust storms in academia, I don't have to contend with the composition of the rain, or the lack thereof. I don't have to measure the loss. I don't have to do the math of the scarcity or how young I was when I started to feel it. I don't have to measure myself by my capacity for grief. But I'm only honest when it rains, and so when it doesn't, all I have left to do is scream. A long held-back cry, one wrapped around my throat like hands that love me, hands that squeeze. There's a desk and a piano here. It's enough. It's gonna have to be tonight. So with silent screams, I'm just reckoning with doomsday, sitting down to write the notebook I haven't touched in over a year, alone in the dark, drinking wine out of a teacup, hoping. That's the point of it. Eyes on me. Honor and a seed the hope, it belies the suffering, and the suffering betrays the depth of the meaning, for it is incapacitated, incapable, incompetent of being the stick by which we measure art. It predicts the weather, it tries to predict God. To consider Genesis under the threat of apocalypse, for the wine to aerate, in a hotel room, in a doomsday bunker, in calamity collateral, the noise of my own heartbeat in the Trafalgar Square, standing uniquely alone in a desolate desert at the bottom of the world, Hades. Deciding what you hold close when it's nuclear. When it's real, it's honest, it's anything but fake. It's to start considering visual proof that the value of pain is in its honesty. It withholds mercy for anything that doesn't call itself by name. It makes eye contact. Look at me. The grief is eroding, encoding, and I think I might wear pin ink on my hands for the rest of my life. It's uniquely awful, strung out, spellbound, the written word, the derivative of art is skill, and the core of skill is love. It's only pain. Something trustworthy, the scream is honest. I think that's the art of it, the heart of it. I think it's worth it. I think I have to try. I think we should try. Should you choose to. Called Ikizukuri. It's a form of seafood, usually fish, though occasionally something more exotic is served for special occasions. The name itself roughly translates to prepared alive. The fish is plucked from a tank, laid out on a plate in front of a table full of onlookers, and it's flayed. I wanted to talk about religion, but I've always identified far too much with that fish, and so this is closer to science fiction. It's of course considered barbaric by some, the highest form of cruelty beyond measure, and if that is the case, I'd at least argue that it's proof of divinity in us. The capacity for cruelty, I mean. Made in the image, right? I guess that depends on how you measure. Hearsay, heresy. Right. Well, sacrilege, maybe. But it's honest. It feels honest. It must at least be called art, a form of decorated culinary reverence, a ritual. There's a school of thought that believes the fish is already dead, even as the animal still appears vital, suffering. Its eyes are still blinking, it's still gasping for air. It's just an action of biology. The nervous system shutting down, tipping on the simple axis of instinct, like how the world coldly keeps turning while the dead are buried, and you forget how to cry, like it doesn't matter, like it's just senseless. I don't think it's senseless. Capturing life at its most vital, like a snapshot of a sunrise. Capturing the moment before you say the truth out loud, like lightning in your skin, the last breath in your lungs that you cling to while you fight like hell for the surface of the water. It reminds you of some betrayal of nostalgia if you watch it closely enough. Feel it in the ink blots enough, in between the lines enough. Writing this letter feels like going under the knife, like being flayed on the table of devotion and belief, performed for the ghost, for your entertainment, to be an act of service and offering. Standing in your own afterimage in a place you haven't been in since you were 14. The knife argues that it's already dead, that maybe it can never feel pain in the first place. I guess you'd have to ask the fish. It is written, the skinning knife, the anti-god, it's Lovecraftian. It's performance art. On display because you need someone to see this, you need someone to care. I need someone to care. I need someone to see this note. I need you to trust me enough to read this letter. Look at me. Don't look at the knife, look at me. Like princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver. The end of all things. Clearly. Like gods and gauntlets, the calling card of self-hatred, I find myself at the foot of judgment seat, strung out and spellbound, lost in the moment in the blink of an eye, trying to talk about power and prayer, the Last Supper, writing a letter, feeling it, counting it, facing it. It feels like predestination, like we should sing about the stars, and yet I'm questioning free will, choice. I guess I'm wondering what it would take, if it knew. If indeed the fish could feel pain, could think conscious thought, could choose to offer itself as a means of trying. If a person could choose to stare the worst of their darkness in the eye, I wonder, what would it cost to give everything? What would even be worth it? What would it take for that fish to get on the plate? Hope? It would take hope. The purest act of rebellion. The art of it. The purest act of resistance. I guess that's what I do in the rain. In hotel rooms, I try to get back to the heart of it all. I try to remember why I started writing. And this is where you make a choice. Let you dig into the fibers of my soul and cut the motives open, or blame some patron saint like a martyr. But this letter got away from me. Strung out in everything I'm not saying. I wanted to write about belief. Faith, I think. I wanted to draw parallels and imagery and bleed out on the symbolism. I wanted to talk about the entanglement of stars. I wanted to accuse fate to the quantum realm. It's not a hard question. And maybe we both wish it was, but it's not. Don't think it's far too simple for that. A story made in the image of a rainstorm, to believe in happily ever after like a kid. It's real. It's closer to science fiction. And the knife holds that childlike hope for ransom because it knows you can't afford to. That it costs too much to think like that. It hurts too much to think like this. It's a holding pattern, pattern recognition, the Lord of Lies, the anti-God, the knife that stays gambling that you can't afford to face it long enough to write a letter. So here's hoping. Here's permission to scream, it is only pain, and losing myself is the art, and only if you choose to, and you do because you hope. And it takes everything you got and then some. An act of power, an act of prayer, all in the blink of an eye, and I'd offer nothing less. The rattle of violin vibrato, dissonance, disorientation, it's real. It's real. The nights I'm outside alone, wrapped in starlight, and I can't even bear to talk to God about this, because how do you talk about this? It's just orange-soaked, unprocessed grief and summer crickets. Distant shadowed houses, it's like they're hiding. Like they know it's coming. And so this is simply an unearthing, earth-shattering, the end of the world, my own image in streetlight puddles, the reckoning, the burring sea, the place where you remember who you are, the room where it happens, where it matters. And the smell of petrichor overwhelms the senses, and you will understand what it is to be loved by an artist if you read the letter. Through talks of kings and tyranny, corruption of truth itself, the collapse of the lost tunnels of condemnation. It is written, says the knife, another lie from what was supposed to love you, walking around your childhood bedroom like it owns the place. Like you owe it your joy, and to merely survive is an act of treason. You will drown under the ice of your worst nightmares or betray the loss itself and deem it meaningless. So what is it to hope then? Heathen? Are you seriously joking right now? I'm dead serious. Deep breaths of hot, dirty air, waterlogged, arpeggios, and a sinking spiral of fear and imposter syndrome that I never say it enough. Say it right when the clock ticks down. Maybe it was already dead. Maybe. Maybe it always was. Does that belie the choice? It's only pain. Look at me. Eyes on me. It will cost you the pain and the corrupted truth you hold dearest that you wrap yourself in at night if you ever want to feel something better. It's the cost of a love note to your younger self. Fighting a private war, it's the cost of dinner. A uniquely desperate sort of passion, one that is black like blood in the moonlight, openly sobbing, heart-stopping clarity on your knees in the snow, licking knives for crumbs, feeling the cold steel blade touch the softest part of your throat. Swallow. Swallow around the breath you never took. A shard of broken glass to be dragged down from the hollow of your neck to the inferno of desire in your stomach. Don't be afraid. I'm not scared. Then do it scared. With tears in your eyes in your attempt to know God, to know yourself. Tried by the knife, this is not science fiction. Not when you're measuring by semantics and you don't even have the decency to flinch. Surpassing science and debating Socrates with triads and calligraphy, all lost and tangled up in Bell theorem and aspect experiments. Don't think, just feel, just bet against the house, play dice with fate. Einstein was wrong. Nothing is written. Now I found myself at the bottom of the ocean in the freezing water of the burning sea. No oxygen mask or compartmentalized memories here. All trapped underneath the weight of it all. Holding patterns, falling torpedoes. Water pressure so heavy you can't even cry. Rage so deep you can't even cry. Rending your heart into pieces, wringing the air from your lungs. The absence of perception, taken into the depth. It's the taste of the mouth of grief, and it eats you alive. Grief is cold. It's supposed to be cold. It's raining so cold that it burns. This is the place where it happens, where you face it, all or nothing, nothing less, nothing less. Sing about the stars. May the music, the composition of the rain, know you by your tears. It's worth it. Nothing is written. Not yet.